G'day everyone, Daz here. I talk footy, hence the title of the channel. Before we get started, please subscribe. It would help out a lot. Trying to get to 250 at the end of the year, and I need your help to do so. If you've already subscribed, try and get a mate to subscribe as well if they love their footy, because that's what we're here for, building a community of footy-loving people having good, intelligent, honest footy conversations. And no more than today does an honest footy conversation need to take place, because Liam Jones has retired and it needs to be talked about. So, in case you've been living under a rock on when you're listening to this or watching this, Liam Jones retired, and the common football knowledge is that he did so because he didn't want to be vaccinated. Now, I'm not here to tell you whether you should or should not be vaccinated. I don't give a damn what you are. It's not up to me to change your opinion, whether you're one way or the other. I am going to say this, though. The people that are aggressively on either side, I hate them equally. The people that are aggressively anti and the people that are aggressively for it, I'm not a big fan of either, because it becomes a turf war on who's right and who's wrong rather than talking about health implications. That's the only opinion on the COVID vaccine I'm going to give on camera. The people that know me know where I stand, but for the record, I am double vaxxed. My big gripe with all this, and it's not actually towards Liam Jones at all, it is at Sam Maclure. I feel like in a couple of years, I don't know when it's going to be, but I think at some point Sam's going to regret his decision to out Liam Jones as the player. This is a mentally challenging decision that will affect Liam for the rest of his life, and for Sam to out him like that, I don't think is a good look. If Liam had retired on his own terms, I feel like if he had done, whether it was a presser or retired, faded off into the distance or whatever it would have been a lot better for probably his mental health. And the fact that he didn't want to be vaccinated, actually, I don't think is the issue. You can choose not to be vaccinated, and then choices can be made, and there are consequences to choices. Like anything in life, when the Victorian government brought in that all AFL players in Victoria had to be double vaxxed, Liam has clearly chosen not to be at this time and has so retired. There is absolutely nothing wrong with him doing that. Nothing wrong at all. But the fact that he was grappling with this decision, he was seemingly on the fence, because until he's gone, I'm absolutely not getting it, or I absolutely am getting it, you're on the fence. That's how decision-making works. But the fact that Sam has outed him, and Liam has to put up with something at the back end of his career that he put up with at the front end, and that is mockery. I worked at Marvel Stadium back when it was Telstra Dome and Etihad, and I don't think there was a player more mocked on the field than Liam Jones. Now, if you're thinking rightly, number one, you're a moron. These players and these athletes are a lot better at the sport than we all are. But when the Bulldogs traded him to Carlton and he started as a forward and it wasn't working out, I'm not the type of guy that's going to say Liam Jones was a superstar. He was a failed forward who ended up going back. But his legacy as a Carlton player is, in a nutshell, being able to play on guerrilla forwards while Jacob Wiedering was coming through the system. Jacob Wiedering was a number one pick who was going to be the next great thing for Carlton's defense, and he has become that now, not when he was drafted. He started playing forward for a little bit. He was struggling in defense. As soon as Liam Jones came in and found his feet as a backman, Jacob Wiedering was allowed to be a second or a third tall. He was able to develop. Now, Jacob Wiedering can take down the game's best forwards as one of the best key backs in the competition. He can, and you can't tell me that Liam Jones didn't have a hand in that. That's how Liam Jones should be remembered, in my opinion. That's how he should be remembered amongst Carlton fans. But it's not. It's going to be he's turned down X amount of money, whether it's $500, $200, or $50, because he didn't want to be vaccinated, and the people that are so pro that they're saying, pro-vaccine that is, saying that he's an idiot for doing it, are as moronic as the people going, you're standing up for yourself, you're standing against the system. No. Liam's made a personal choice that he believes in, and as such, he won't play AFL anymore. That's it. That's all this decision is. But if he was sitting on the fence, or he was still unsure, or he was still talking about things with his family, then Sam Maclure outing him caused that fan mockery to kick back in. I only follow 250 people on Twitter. Only about 70 people follow me. If my Twitter feed was blowing up about this when Maclure outed him, his was, and don't forget, people are going to be DMing him as well, which again, if you do that and you're a football fan, you're a moron. But he's been rushed into this decision, in my opinion. You could differ your opinion than mine. Let me know in the comments what you think. I don't hate you for your opinion if it's different to mine. Don't hate mine because it's different to yours. That's all I ask of you. You can disagree. That's fine. I'm not going to hate you any less. So relax. But Sam Maclure outing him has rushed him into a decision, and I do not blame him if his train of thought was, fuck it, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't blame him. Why would you want to? Mitch Duncan had fans DMing him about bloody Maltese when he was knocked out in a game of football, whereas Liam Jones is copping it from all sorts of morons about a decision that will affect him for the rest of his life. Even if 12 months from now, Liam Jones does get vaccinated, he's still going to get morons going, you could have done this 12 months ago and kept playing footy. No, the man's mentally exhausted. Of course he is. I would be too. We will never know if Liam Jones wanted to get vaccinated before the deadline. We will never know, because he wasn't given that choice. He was rushed into a choice and went, I don't want to do it anymore. And I believe that's wrong. And Sam, as a Carlton man, I hope he and Liam can make things right. And I do hope that whatever the choice is that Liam makes further on down the road, whether he stays unvaccinated or he gets vaccinated, I don't care. I hope that down the road he is happier as a human being now that he's out of that spotlight. Because in the spotlight, for 90% of his career, he was mocked, bullied, and hated by people worse than him at the thing that he was doing. And that, to me, is not okay. That's tarnishing the legacy of a man who played over 100 games of footy, was able to stop a lot of forwards. He reads the ball really well. Sure, he's not the best kick. I'm a Hawthorn fan. We had James Frawley during the three-peat, well, during 2015. I know what that was like. Key defenders don't need to be the best kick in your team, for crying out loud. They're not all Stephen May. It's fine. Liam Jones did his job most weeks. That's all you can ask of an AFL footballer, and if they're better, they're better. But even if he was one of the best players in the competition, it doesn't make a difference. He deserved to go out on his own terms. And that's what makes me sad. All he needed was a press conference or something to say, this is the decision I've made. I'm stepping away of the game because of this decision. I stand by my decision. I'm going to enjoy, my family. I'm going to enjoy the next phase of my life. And whatever happens, happens. If he does that, sure, you're still going to get morons saying this stupid shit. But he gets to go out on his own terms and he'd wake up tomorrow happier. But now, until the next thing comes along, Jordan De Goey's court case, the draft, whatever it is, until then, Liam Jones is stuck with a big part of the footballing fraternity thinking he's an idiot for this. And he's not an idiot. He's making a choice. You can disagree with that choice. You can agree with the choice. It's fine. But this isn't fair. It's not fair that he had to go out like this. And that's why I'm sad about it. Alright guys, so that's it. What do you think about the whole Liam Jones situation? Do you think it's fair that Sam Maclure outed him as the player who was hesitating? Let me know. If you enjoyed the content, click a like. I know it's so different from things that I have done in the past, but it was a breaking story at the time, and it's been 4 hours since it was announced to the time of recording, and I had to get my thoughts out there. So if you enjoyed the conversation that was had, click that like button. More people can see it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It would be fantastic. It would help me out a lot. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope the weather gets better because it's been shithouse here. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. They'll be in the end card of this video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.